All right, Ravenites, welcome to another Ravencoin development update. I am your host for today, Blockchain John, here in Braveland. Of course, it is the one metaverse for the Ravencoin community to come on in and hang out, have a good fiasco out here, and yeah, there's good meetups here that happen on a monthly basis. Let's see, today is the 12th Ravencoin episode that we're doing. And we're going to be going back to May 6th to get all the updates of what's been going on in Ravencoin. Okay. So if you want to know first and foremost, let's see what this is. Hold on a second. We got a Ravenwall here. Ravenwall supporters Ravencoin. Ravencoin is a fairly launched blockchain project, and importantly has no pre-mine or set aside funds for development or marketing. Due to this, Ravencoin has zero marketing funds set aside to showcase the open source project to the world, and therefore the community has been doing it solo. Individuals are donating their time and energy to improve awareness of Ravencoin around the world, which is basically what I'm doing here for the Ravenite community. I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, but I don't mind coming in and just talking about Ravencoin because it's a project that I really like to be a part of. It's really nice. It's so easy to use, and for the most part, everybody's quite friendly and helpful. Okay, continuing on. Raven Angels are collecting Ravencoin donations for the express purpose of strategically marketing Ravencoin and improving awareness of existing and new projects. The marketing fund, however, is in need of support by the community. The Raven Wall is a Ravencoin community members project intended to help support the marketing fund. It is simply a place that can showcase the projects on the Ravencoin blockchain and support future marketing. Raven Wall supports Ravencoin. And there you go. So check that out if you want some space. Alright, so with that said, let's head on over to, obviously if you guys want to check out the Braveland, the Ravencoin's metaverse, you guys can download Braveland anytime you want and check it out. Let's see, let's head on over to the Ravencoin.org website. Obviously, you guys can find all the information you're looking for here at the Ravencoin Foundation or Ravencoin website. You guys can find everything what Ravencoin is and where the exchanges are and all the Twitter updates. Yay! Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. Why are we here? We are here to talk about what's been going on in the Ravencoin development meetings. Now, the meetings happen once a week, every week on Friday around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, obviously, there's some folks that aren't a part of the Discord group, and this is only where the developers meet up and chat about what's been going on with the Ravencoin core development. So, if you guys want to know, you guys pretty much have to be in this Discord server in this particular channels to know what's going on. But I am here to pretty much discuss what's been going on, let you guys know so you guys don't have to participate, okay, if you don't want to. But here we go. All right, it's gonna take a while, by the way, so I would say sit back, enjoy, relax, do what you're gonna do on the back end. Just listen to my voice and you get to know what's going on here in Ravencoin in the past month pretty much. Alright, so Kinkajou, so this is May 6, 2022. Kinkajou, channel open. Crypto Life Crisis. Any devs doing dev stuff? Cosmic Druid, well, I am developing a Ravencoin framework over ravencoinhelper.com. It's up and running and people are using it. I have put it into beta for others to get involved. Just a researcher said, would really love to get SegWit integrated into Raven. Would be nice to get an idea of how much that would cost. Kinkajou responds to just a researcher. Same. If any of our core developers have a rough estimation, it would probably be easier to start crowdfunding. Perhaps we could get a funding proposal page on the foundation site like we did for the stable coins. An issue was created a while back. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/issues/979. Nonprofit jumps into the conversation. Per the previous post from Hans, it appears the sync bug is now finally fixed. So I'm curious when the P2SH is going live onto the chain. Any ETA? Kinkajou responds, at Tron, was working on those 6 failing tests. Not sure if it's around if he's around to give us a progress update this week. I think that is the only thing holding up release. A CrypticWizardry.com jumps into the conversation. Working on those pool scripts, lol. Finals ended yesterday, so free to begin that and plunging into mineable assets. Cosmic Druid responds, woohoo! More burning of the midnight oil, I bet. Seal Clubber jumps into the conversation. SegWit would be cool with P2 Pool, great for having more nodes running. Cosmic Druid responds, I'd like to know if anyone has a library for creating a new address without booting up Raven. I'll be tying up the IPFS peer ID with a Raven address right when a user starts ravencoinhelper.com for the first time, so I can tie them both in with a token. I will be giving them 1 token every 24 hours. Proof of work. So Cosmic Druid continues. What I am currently doing is this: creating the basic files that Raven starts from the first time, but delete the wallet.dat, then tar them up. On first run of ravencoinhelper.com, I untar the basic files. Systemctl now enabled Raven, which also recreates the wallet.cat so that it is unique. Then do a Raven CLI get new address to a file. This and the IPFS peer ID gets sent via SCP private/public key to the server, including an email address if the user wants to send it for notifications. Server side parses both bits of data. Seal Clubber responds, you could look up how the paper wallets generate them. Cosmic Druid responds, I feel there's a better way to generate a Raven address than what I have right now. Anyone know of a way? Oh, got a link. Kinkajou responds to Cosmic Druid with the link github.com/ravencommunity/PocketRaven. Cosmic Druid responds, okay, cool, I'll check that out. Check out that link. Thank you. You got a thumbs up emoji for that. LSJIO7 responds, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes just ask the user for the Raven address they want to use. Keep it simple. Bad Guy TY responds, is there a reason dev meeting is still open? Been sick all afternoon, just getting to my chair now. I just used the address and send their message from. Kikaju responds to Bad Guy TY, yes, we've been waiting for you, or hoping a core dev might have something to add in regards to SegWit/those failing tests, but I guess they can post when channel is locked, so I'll close it now. And that is the end of the 6th of May's development meeting. Moving over to May 13th. Starting the conversation for that day is Tron. I will not make it for today's dev meeting on a flight. Kinkajou responds, channel open. Blockchain John responds at Bad Guy TY. Dev meeting started. Bad Guy TY responds, thanks. What's on the agenda? Blockchain John says. Kinkajou responds to Blockchain John. Only item I had was hoping for an update on those failing tests, but Tron is not present, and he was the one working on that. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss? LSJIO7 responds, QC. That guy TY responds, I would just like to complain about the low understanding of blockchain and wasted my time this morning with no real discussion on Web3. LSJIO7 responds with a LMAO emoji. Yeah. Cosmic Druid responds, I'm watching. Blockchain John responds, I'm hearing a lot of talk about the P Raven and Twitter. Have you guys been keeping up in the development? Kinkajou responds to Blockchain John, at Crypto Life Crisis has taken it upon himself to get that bridge back up. I'm interested in helping as well. We both agree that the ability to bridge Raven's NFTs to a MetaMask compatible smart chain would be a huge for Ravencoin adoption. Bad Guy TY responds, I am trying to actually build a Ravencoin MetaMask-esque extension. It looks like Moontree won't initially have that, so I am implementing it immediately after I implement a RIP11 decryption plugin. Kinkajou responds, That would be a huge for Ravencoin as well. Anything to increase usability. Also opens up a lot of Web3 potential for token-based authentication / authorization. Isn't Squawker currently using some version of this as well? Bad Guy TY responds, I think that is what it's needed for Squawker to take off. Yes, Squawker has wallets signing to log in. The Squawker API can actually handle the back end for you. I know Synth has expressed interest in using it, and I think has started some projects with it. Kinkajou responds, if I can use it for my browser, I will definitely start squawking. Bad Guy TY responds, well, right now, it is all browser based but needs the wallet signatures. Hoping to be able to tie into Moontree for the signing. Kinkajou responds to Bad Guy TY, yes, manual signing is very tedious and confusing for novice users. Bad Guy TY responds, I think my guide isn't horrible. Kinkajou responds, absolutely not. I'm just saying most people won't take the time to look for a guide. They'll look at the app, and if they can't figure out, they'll close the browser. At least that's my impression. Blockchain John responds to Bad Guy TY. Any instructional videos available to learn how to use Squeaker? Jeez. Bad Guy TY responds, my guide is on the side of the site. Just text and photos. Squawker.app. I do need to do some instructional videos, but I think getting an in-browser wallet will eliminate that barrier. Just not enough to carry it myself. Kinkajou responds to Bad Guy TY, maybe you could post a bounty here in the Discord. Hashtag general bounties, hashtag coding and testing bounties, hashtag volunteers needed. Bad Guy TY responds, bounty? I ain't got that kind of money. If I did, I would quit my job and go all ham on it. Kinkajou responds, bounty rewards can also be NFTs, or you could post a volunteer bounty. Bad Guy TY responds, I got the block underscore changing NFTs, but they wouldn't even sell for 100 Raven. Kinkajou responds, I've done a lot more for a lot less. Someone might pick it up, but just know that you have a resource available to request community assistance if you choose. Bad Guy TY responds, I'm hoping once I get the RIP11 decode done, I get picked up as a dev for the blockchain project. Blockchain John responds, I recently downloaded the entire blockchain QT and fully loaded 50 gigabytes. Now that I have it, I want to tinker with some additional commands. Any suggestions? Bad Guy TY responds, I gotta get the kids, but Blockchain John, I would play with finding a decoding transactions personally. Blockchain John responds, what I really want to do is get some help creating an IPFS node to store all the NFT / assets, images, videos, sounds, text. It's sad to see that many assets / coins, NFTs, are missing images. Let's see. M4R1M0. What is that? I'm going to say it's Mario. Marimo responds at Cosmic Druid, is your guy for that? Check out ravencoinhelper.com/ravencoinhelper-4-windows-10. Blockchain John responds, it's currently not functional. Kinkajou responds, soon TM. Blockchain John, we should definitely have much more Raven RVN IPFS nodes. As per the network grows, we need to support IPFS peers. LSJ-IO7 responds, you could use the script to add new hashes to your IPFS nodes from your Ravencoin node. github.com/ravencoin/blob/masters/assets/tools/txfax.py. Cosmic Helper, Virtual Machine, and Ravenlands OS are easier in my opinion, but the option is there. Kinkajou responds, at Blockchain John, I'm using Cosmic Druid's Ravencoin Helper OS on Windows now, which part isn't working. LSJ-IO7 responds, I'm using the helper on Windows as well at the moment, working for me. Kinkajou responds, I'll go ahead and close the channel. Can continue discussion and development. Thanks for coming, everyone. And that is the end of the discussion for the 13th of May. Moving over to the 20th of May. Kinkajou, channel open. Bad Guy TY, any updates on the new version? Kinkajou responds, at Tron, have you made any progress? Question mark. Also appears Bittrex is having issues with their node. It has been down for a few weeks now. Bad Guy TY responds, really? How does your node go down for a few weeks? Mango Farms responds, see Hacksmat's notes in the development channel. Bad Guy TY responds, especially with an active Discord. Tron responds, I've emailed Bittrex, but have not heard back. Many of the original contacts I had with the exchanges were lost when I lost access to my Medici Ventures email. Mango Farms responds, at Hacksmax, can you let Tron know reached out? Tron responds, so I'm reliant on the public info. I emailed Coin Team at Bittrex.com on May 10th and still no response. I offered to help them, or at least to understand the problem. At Hacksmax, please DM me or email me, Tron at Ravencoin.Foundation with the right contact info. Mango Farms responds, Tron, with the link discord.com/channels/ a bunch of numbers. Okay. Bad Guy TY responds, so no new release version? Question mark. We need to think about P2SH in the context of auditability of assets. I am in contact if you want me to patch you through. And Tron responds, as it stands now, the assets issue always assets in addresses. Tron responds to crawl better than, yes please, preferably to Tron at Ravencoin.Foundation. Bad Guy TY responds, but that with P2SH we might have a situation where they build or want a multi-sig address. Tron responds, with P2SH the script is hidden and the script is and script solutions are published. As it is now, the system can make some guarantees that are useful. 1,000 shares issued and 1,000 shares are in X number of addresses. There's an audit script that will check this integrity. Does anyone know of anyone that is waiting for P2SH to do their project? Question mark. Bad Guy TY responds, but with the P2SH, you can't guarantee it until after the solution is known, which means we might need some safeguards around solutions getting pulled from the mempool that, while valid, are invalid from restricted asset protections. I was going to go that route, P2SH, but went with send by proxy, where you just have to have the info signed from the wallet. Kinkajou responds to Tron, there has been a lot of interest in the ability to utilize cross-chain atomic swaps with Ravencoin assets. Bad Guy TY responds, that is the main use case that I have seen too. Kinkajou responds, could this issue be prevented if regulatory compliant projects simply don't issue qualifier tags to multi-sig addresses? Bad Guy TY responds to Kinkajou, that is a very good restriction, and if it's for regulatory compliance, it's a completely reasonable request to keep everything in the open. Mango Farms responds to Tron, not us, but there is some unreleased code unrelated to P2SH, including bug fixes that we do use that has been waiting on the next release. Asset memo raw transactions won't build in the current production release. We have a special API that uses FDOV's fix from a couple months back, but things like that seem to be waiting on the big P2SH roll. Bad Guy TY responds, "Oh, hey, that was the bug I found." Respond Farms. Mango Farms responds, "Nice, very nice. Well, thank you. It was the thing that kept us from putting memos on assets." Bad Guy TY responds, "Yeah, the code was completely commented out. I was trying to learn raw transactions from Squawker, and it just wasn't working." Cosmic Druid responds, "Thanks, Kinkajou." Tron responds, "I guess what I'm trying to convey is that we have had a trade-off. We currently have an audible asset, which seems very valuable. We may have to sacrifice that for P2SH, and it may or may not be worth it if there aren't projects needing P2SH. The other fixes can be done independent of P2SH. Bad Guy TY responds, "Well, what would be the downside of not allowing P2SH for restricted assets?" Mango Farms responds, "Tron, I wonder if it would be possible to solve that trade-off by allowing issuers at the time of the original issuance to restrict assets to only public hashes. Sort of like restricted assets, but more generalized to all addresses, but only addresses. Anyways, that sprung to mind, but it's a whole thing." Tron responds, Second question. Since you at Mango Farms are using the fixes on the current chain, those fixes are not consensus impacting and could be used now. Kinkajou responds to Mango Farms, "Can this not already be achieved with restricted assets and qualifiers? Question mark." Mango Farms responds to Tron, "Exactly. We've got them running on a separate API just for memo transactions. All good. It's just not the easiest for others who might want to do the same with asset memos. We are good for now, Tron." Bad Guy TY responds to Kinkajou, "The issue is that you don't know exactly where everything truly is that is behind a P2SH contract." Mango Farms responds to Kinkajou, "Probably, but thinking more like a one-click restriction that restricts to all possible addresses P2PKH without the need for a tag." Tron responds, "P2SH doesn't just impact restricted assets. The auditability of all assets would be impacted. With just pay to pub key, we can make sure that inputs equal outputs for assets." Kinkajou responds to Bad Guy TY, "Right, but it's easy enough to tell if an asset is P2PKH? No? Question mark." Bad Guy TY responds to Mango Farms, "Completely blocks Squawker from raw transactions." Kinkajou responds to Mango Farms, "Agreed, this would be better." Bad Guy TY responds, "The thing is that a P2SH could actually be bound for a P2PKH address." Kinkajou responds to Tron, "I'm just not so worried about the auditability of regular assets since projects aiming to be regulatory compliant will likely have to use restricted assets / tags anyways." Mango Farmers responds, "Tron, your point is pretty important one, especially since the genesis of Ravencoin has something to do with the Dole Foods auditability issues. It's sort of the core of the whole thing." Mango Farms responds, points up to responding to Kinkajou. Bad Guy TY responds to Kinkajou, "Yeah, if you have regular assets, you should not be trying to keep it auditable. Restricted assets are easier enough to build and manage." Tron responds to he just responds, I know this is limited sample size, but does everyone here think it's worth giving up assets Auditability. Guarantee of all issued equals sum of all in addresses in exchange for P2SH. Bad guy TY responds, well, how would you differ that number? The assets can't just disappear. I guess they would be sitting at some unknown UTXO. Cosmic Druid responds, I'd like to make a request, please. I'm working with a few others in having clustered Ravencoin IPFS servers, at least 3 of them, and I was wondering if anyone has a list of dead IPFS hashes of the Ravencoin blockchain. Kinkager responds, I'd like to explore something like at Mango Farms proposed first. A checkbox to allow P2SH would be ideal. I do think having the ability to swap Ravencoin assets for Bitcoin without a trusted third party is perhaps equally important as auditability. Mango Farms responds, Tron, you would still be able to verify the total supply issued, right? And the script a given quantity is locked too. You wouldn't be able to tie each asset to an address, but you would be able to tie all assets to an on-chain script. Bad guy TY responds, would the P2SH break things like dividends, assuming they were trying to send them to non-restricted assets? Mango Farms responds to Cosmic Druid, yes, I have this. Bad guy TY responds to Mango Farms, yeah, not all addresses, but all UTXOs. Cosmic Druid responds, I know you do, but you're so busy. Didn't want to bug you anymore. Mango Farms responds, it's no bother. Cosmic Druid responds, ah, sweet, thank you. Tron responds to Bad Guy TY, I don't know if this has been tested. Cosmic Druid responds, and Pyrian, of course, as agreed, I honestly don't like the clustering mode. RavenCoinHelper.com uses the Pyrian, but also limits the size of the Ravencoin assets and the disk space the IPFS server can have. Kinkachu responds, I think a lot of people have been waiting for P2SH for over a year now, and it has obvious benefits. I don't like the idea of simply tossing it out because it might cause problems in the future, so long as these problems can be avoided by utilizing Ravencoin's other tools, which it seems like they can. Morgan jumps into the conversation with a dog emoji. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This goes all over my head here, but I just want to hop in here and say thank you to everyone working on development. Well, thank you, Morgan. I'll give you a little heart for that too. All right. Silk Clubber jumps into the conversation. I would like to thank Kral and Hans for allowing us to mine testnet without relying on closed source options. And here's 2 links to github.com/quadratus/ravencoin-stratum-proxy. Second one is github.com/hans-schmidt/kapow_personal_stratum_server. Bad guy TY responds, okay, so we should make a test for P2SH dividends in testnet. Could you use the same script as the current UTXO has? If it is going to evaluate the same, that should be fine, right? Have the other failure cases been resolved? Tron responds, at least we should understand how a P2SH transaction impacts the audit, sum of assets, and how it reports for dividend purposes. Kinkager responds to Tron, at Core Testers, if any of you are available to help test this week, it would be appreciated. Cosmic Druid responds, I'll say it for myself, I'm saying NA. Only because, number 1, out of a bit of ignorance, and number 2, not being able to see beforehand, reminds me of contracts and all the scams that come with it, and the black eyes that the coin gets from it. Just putting it out there as it's not being said. I reserve the right to be partially ignorant. Mango Farms responds to Cosmic Druid with the link to IPFS, Ravencoin IPFS-gateway.com/IPFS/ and a QM hash after that. Run a recursive pin on that and sort out anything that pins. It's been a minute since I went back over the whole thing to see if there's anything has since been found. There may be a handful. I'm kind of curious. What is this? Oh, there we go. It's a bunch of QM codes. So these are all like IPFS hashes. Okay, cool. Continuing on, Kinkachu responds to Cosmic Druid. I think you owe it to yourself to dig into the issue a bit more, since it impacts a consensus level change that we've paid for and spent testing. Mango Farms, you got it. I really appreciate it, and you. Mango Farms, anytime. Cosmic Druid responds to Kinkachu. Okay, I will try. I will. I'm slowly getting there. Mango Farms responds to Silk Clubber. This is outstanding. I didn't know about these. Thank you. Bad Guy TY responds, I think if we know the full effects, that if it is going to have and make restricted asset holders aware of those risks and restrictions, it will be fine. Kikachu responds, perhaps if Ravencoin issued a warning before assigning a qualifier asset to a non-P2PKH address. Bad Guy TY responds, I would offer to test it more myself, but I am having a hard enough time getting out what I want to get out, let alone that it looks like it will be writing a JS provider class for Ravencoin also. Bad Guy TY responds to Kinkachu, how many of those that are using P2SH assets are going to be submitting them through Ravencoin and not just submitting them through a mempool as raw transactions? At Mango Farms, if you tell me you have a JS provider class like MetaMask, I will love you forever. What I really want is to get paid to write it, if it isn't there already. Cosmic Druid responds, hey, when I make Ravencoin Hopper OS POW with both client-side and server-side info put into GitHub, could I get something from the foundation? Bad Guy Druid, I'm not holding out hope for Squawker on getting foundation money. Mango Farms respond to Bad Guy TY. Sorry, TY. No, it's all in-house currently. It's something we have wanted to do. So many days, so little time. Bad Guy TY responds to Mango Farms. I don't mind in-house as long as I'm in the house in question. That's funny. Kinkachu responds to I think the foundation supports Ravencoin development, but I know they host bounties for other developments like stablecoin proposals. I don't know. We've had 2 members in here, don't we? Bad Guy TY responds, can we get a bounty for a JS provider? I would chip in a few grand Raven towards that one. Mango Farms responds, don't know if Tron is still in. Here you go, ravencoin.foundation/proposals. Email him at the address linked. Bad Guy TY responds, oh dang, mineable asset is 10,000. Nice. Tron responds, the foundation can help with proposals/grants. It exists to support the ecosystem. I does not have a regular source of funds and was not funded via ICO. If there is a proposal and a will for participants to fund it, the foundation can help. There are 2 stablecoin proposals now and a bounty. Kinkachu responds to Tron. Are you still president of the foundation? ? Bad Guy TY responds, last week when we met, he introduced that way. Wow, it has been a long week. Kinkachu responds, I was just wondering because of Mango's comments just now from discord.com/channels/ just another link to Discord. Let's check it. Let's see here. Don't know if Tron is still in. Here you go. Okay. I see. I meant Mango. I didn't mean that. I didn't know if Tron was still in the channel. Kinkachu. Oh, LOL. Phew. Had a bit of an internal panic there. Bad guy TY responds, that's the way I read it. Mango Farms responds, I didn't want to step on him since, yes, he is the president. Kinkachu responds, my mistake. Mango Farms responds, sorry for the confusion. I got a couple of screens up. I just didn't want to jump in and respond if he was about to, but then figured after a minute I'd drop his email for proposals. Tron responds, yes, still president, unpaid in 2022 because the Ravencoin Foundation is voluntarily supported. I want the original funds provided by Medici Ventures to continue to support nodes, monitoring emails, etc. New projects, proposals, grants will be financially supported by the community on a project-by-project basis. I make myself available for things like the Bittrex node support or helping to educate about Ravencoin and assets. Bad Guy TY responds, okay, well, this week I hope I have Squawka's SEO on Google finally, and then I will try to get started on the JS provider. Was working on a RIP11 and browser decoder, but as it seems that Moontree won't be releasing with a provider, I will be making one of them, I guess. Mango Farms would be happy to also have it work with your wallet if you have a list of endpoints to call each of the needed actions. Mango Farms responds, that's great, TY. We ditched the RIP11 interface in the last update and haven't added it back yet. The UX we had was wonky and I want to refine it before adding it back. Definitely would like to work with you on this. First up is our new UI refresh, which is pretty cool. Then finally Ice Wallet out. Then we will have time. Alpha Beat helped a lot with starting point for a really nice UI for what we can finally call Mango 1.0 coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's awesome for me to see someone integrating RIP11. Really happy you are doing that. Bad Guy TY response, I mean, the release of Squawka really takes off. I mean, messaging is nice and all, but buying and selling digital stuff, that's money-making tech right there. Kinkajou responds, channel closed. Great meeting. Thanks for coming, everyone. And that concludes the 20th of May. All right. Before I continue, I'm going to take a short little break, a little water break, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So we're going to continue on with the 27th of May. Channel open. Actually, let's see here. You know what? Give me a second. I'll be right back. I apologize. Perfect. All right, let's head on back to. Okay, so I'm connected into general voice. Let's see if anybody jumps in and want to talk about some development. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's see. Okay, continuing on with the 27th of May. Channel open from Kinkajou. At Tron, were you able to get in touch with Bittrex at all? Seal Clubber, yeah, they are down for like 4 weeks, man. Tron responds, yes, I have an open Slack channel with them now. I sent them the information they need. They thanked me. This was on May 20th. I have not heard anything since. I just verified that the deposit/withdrawal is still inactive. I asked via the Slack channel if there is something wrong or if there is something I can do to help. Seal Club response, thank you. Yes, thank you. The Kinkajou response, yes, thank you, at Tron. Has there been any more discussions with regards to P2SH? I know we didn't have much of the community in here, but I think it's highly preferable to see if there is a compliant workaround to the auditability issue. Tron responds, I haven't done anything this week on it. I'm working on foundation taxes. Mining donations are great, but they came in so many small transactions at so many different times that I need to write some script to be able to convert the information into usable info for the 990 tax form. Kinkajou response to Tron, is there anything that we community members can do to help test this? Just trying to get an idea of what exactly is needed to determine the viability of a proposed solution. It is a matter of having the entire supply auditable, or is it a matter of matching the supply to a specific address? A combination of both, or would one suffice? Compliance can be quite confusing, I guess. I'm just not sure what exactly would merit a workable solution. Someone_2 responds, was LSJ.io something's solution viable? He posted something, but I don't know that it was sanity checked. Tron responds, to test it, use testnet with P2SH activated. Create an asset, then send some of the asset to P2SH transaction. Then either use the audit script in github.com/raven project/ravencoin/blob/master/assets/tools/asset_audit.py to see if the asset passes the audit, and or use the rewards RPC calls to make sure it accounts for all the assets and that P2SH ones aren't unaccounted for, and check the asset explorer to see if the amount in various addresses add up to 100% of the issued asset quantity. Kinkajou responds to someone_2. LSJ.io7 link to the proposed solution? I must have missed it. Someone_2 responds, it was basically a logic check. I'm not easily finding the post. It wasn't a link. The main concept was to differentiate things against P2SH by noting the multi-sig aspect. Meaning, if it's a multi-sig, it's P2SH. I wasn't entirely sure what was meant. It was kind of messy. I think I'm finally grasping the main issue better. However, the problem is to make sure that the P2SH stuff is accounted for in an audit. Tron responds, the trick with P2SH is that you could be anything. You could not know that it is a multi-sig. The transaction could be multi-sig. You can only see the hash of the script, not the script itself. Blockchain John responds, at Kinkajou, channel still open. And you got thumbs up, close the channel. That was the end of the channel. The meeting for, oh no, it still goes on. Here we go. Kinkajou, going to close the channel now. If any core testers are available to help with testing P2SH, and here's a link, this week's DMs, or ping me in #testnet. And that's the end of that. Now moving on to the 3rd of June. Getting closer. This is from starting off the day is Tron. I will likely be driving during today's meeting. I'm testing the beta of Moontree Wallet. I like it. There was some issues with the Raven wallet this week. See Twitter. The API feeding the Raven price to the app failed. It looks like it is back. Kinkajou response to Tron. I'll go ahead and give you an update now. Then this week I used Ravencoin to mint some assets and then sent those out to various P2SH multi-sig addresses created via Electrum. I then sent some from the P2SH addresses to another. Both times asset_audit.py passed. So it would appear to me that there is no issue with P2SH and auditability after all. Kinkajou response. Channel open. Bad guy TY. Yay. Thanks, Kinkajou. Kinkajou responds. Those P2SH tests were the only updates I had for this week. Bad guy. Did either of you have something you want to discuss? Cosmic Druid responds. Thank you. I forgot. I do actually. I have been working hard to create a gateway and the other Ravencoin users, and I truly believe that Ravencoin Helper OS will help at ravencoinhelper.com/generative everyone-at-Ravencoin. This project is, well, it's 80% already open sourced, and the rest of it that I have customized will be shortly once I know things are working. Shortly, beta 2, I will be releasing POW and an update functionality that is based off the Debian repository that will allow developers to add their projects both free and paid. It has almost everything that's needed. It has web server / database, PHP, Python, etc. And best of all, it's all on Linux. I'm also working on an easier web interface for the typical person to use it. And I'm hoping I can get some developers to work with me and others to create a free or paid generative artwork for Ravencoin NFTs. The developer's audience is Windows, Linux, OS X, and Raspberry Pi 4B and up. Bad Guy TY responds, just thinking here, but would having a Dockerized also make it more accessible for the masses? That way you can spin up or have spun up for them a Docker container that contains everything needed for the OS. Cosmic Druid responds, I thought about that too. Yes, agreed. Bad Guy TY responds, that would be a cool project to make people's Windows spin up Docker containers automatically through a shortcut. Cosmic Druid responds, I'm hoping that giving this away gets all the developers talking more and doing stuff on it, now that there is a Ravencoin framework platform to share and collaborate on. Bad Guy TY responds, yeah, that would be nice. It is strange that for as big and active of a community as we have, I would think there was more devs going on. I'm kind of scared that after the Ether merge, we won't see the hash rate bump I would hope for. Cosmic Druid responds, I'm thinking there will be more developer apps, which leads to more scalability, stability, more usage, and more focus. This is why I'm trying hard to get it out there, so that the devs can start talking with each other and seeing each other's work, and the users can also see it and use it, and return this will create a perpetual motion to get Ravencoin moving in the right direction. I used to manage developers as well as maintain networks, so I know a thing or two, and me giving it all away eventually will inspire others to will inspire others not to fear of being used. I know it's out there for developers, so I believe in lead by example. Namaste. Alright, Bad Guy TY responds, yep, that's why Squawker is out there. Fear not. Cosmic Druid responds, I'm eyeing Squawker too. Gonna bug him too when I get beta 2 out. Bad Guy TY responds, the issue is that Squawker doesn't have anything resembling an app UI. Kai responds, at Papa, you around? Bad Guy TY responds, and the dev is lazy. Cosmic Dude response, that's why I'm hoping an incentive, even if it's as low as 4 Raven for a paid application, will turn out to be thousands of Raven when the people start coming to use it. Cosmic Druid responds, I could talk with you guys all day and philosophize, but not feeling great right now, so me if you want to discuss anything development related and see if we can get your namaste. Bad guy 2 hour responds, take care. Cosmic response, is there, if there are no other items to discuss, I will close the channel. Or responds with a Ravencoin emoji. And that concludes the 3rd of June's meeting. Moving over to the 10th. Channel is open, written by Kinkajou. And Kinkajou responds with a sad emoji face. We'll back next week. That was the end of the 10th of June meeting. Moving over to the 16th. Kinkajou responds to meeting agenda for the June 17, 2022. Number 1, P2SH, progress on failing test, updates on asset auditability. Number 2, USDO stablecoin proposal. USDO has been USDO has been off peg for many months. Community members suggest reevaluating funding goals. To have your items added to the agenda, please ping/DM me before Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cool. I actually like that. Give a little agenda update prior to the meeting. All right, now the 17th. Kinkajou responds with a channel open. Who is that? I lay pipe. I lay pipe starts the pretty much starts the conversation. I brought to Kinkajou's attention the other day that USDO has been off peg for many months now, and it's still on the proposal list on the website. It didn't add 68 cents when I checked yesterday. USDO. Let's see if we can check that out real quick. USDO. Side tangent here. Let's go check on. Let's see if I can find it on here. USDO. Yeah, there we go. Let's see where it's at now. Holy smokes, 65 cents. Yeah, it's not pegged to the dollar. Well, thank you, senor. Thank you. Give you a thumbs up for that. I lay pipe. Not sure if we can end that proposal and move funds donate there to a new proposal. Just want to the community and developers to see. I personally don't like stablecoins. That was written by CRYPTOPOTATO. Let's see. Baba Yaga responds with a hello emoji. Kinkajou responds, I have mixed feelings on stablecoins as well, particularly algorithmic stablecoins, but a good number of community members have donated to this proposal, so there is a problem with OpenDAO. Then perhaps those funds should go towards the other stablecoin proposals or put towards a general development fund that actually gets used. I agree. CRYPTOPOTATO responds, do you know if any other functional tests are still failing? Kinkajou responds, I was really hoping for an update from Tron this week. I haven't tested recently, but I can't imagine if there's any changes considering I haven't seen any new releases. CRYPTOPOTATO responds, I'll try and test with that PR Tron mentioned over the weekend, just haven't been really busy lately. Kinkajou responds to CRYPTOPOTATO, I don't see any new PR since Tron's message here. And here's a Discord link. CRYPTOPOTATO responds with another Discord link, and he got a thumbs up emoji from that. Kinkajou responds, gotcha. I'm not sure if it's my test included in that or not. I will rebuild from develop and retest as well. CRYPTOPOTATO responds, yeah. From develop, you'll also need to try and run as well. Yes. If the USDO project isn't working, we can end the proposal. I made commitments to return funds over a certain dollar amount to the sending address, lower dollar contributions can be switched. CRYPTOPOTATO responds, how would one go about testing the BIP9 activation period change? iLay responds, okay, I wasn't sure the process that needs to be taken there. Thank you. Tron responds, I should have been done on the testnet. There's no good way to test it on the mainnet. Although a few miners could run the new version to see it counting blocks, BIP9 has been testing pretty well. I don't feel as confident with P2SH. CRYPTOPOTATO response, I see. Excuse me, I need some water here. Okay, Tron responds, I'm still requesting for projects that need it. If anyone knows of any that are waiting, let me know. Kinkachu responds to Tron, is it just the auditability or are there any other concerns? Because auditing doesn't seem to be an issue. WX Raven seems to be waiting on it. Tron responds, there's work, changing all nodes, and risk of unforeseen issues. If there isn't enough reward, the risk isn't worth it. Kinkachu responds, we've spent over a year working on this and telling the community it was coming soon. Tens of thousands of dollars spent on the code and 2 separate audits. You run the risk of destroying all credibility for Ravencoin development if we're not going to shelve an objectively beneficial release because after 12 months it is suddenly too risky? Tron responds, I ran test. Well, not really a test because I needed it. I ran the new one with TX and address indexing on and got 0 bounce back on an address with Raven. Might be compiler related because I'm on M1. Tron responds to Kinkachu, I get that. It adds some capabilities, but nobody that I know of is needing it. Every economic node must update or bad things happen. I don't have a full list of contacts for many of them. Kinkachu responds, nobody needs Ravencoin at all. It is an improvement on an existing system. If it's a matter of contacting people, then I'm happy to work with whomever or on my own rebuilding that list. But this is a lot of money donated by the community for something that the vocal minority community clearly supports. How can you expect anyone to ever donate to the foundation or any Ravencoin development / audits again if we shelve this now? Why would a dev build a product in anticipation of a new release if the history of Ravencoin is missing deadlines? I won't even work on P2Pool because I can't even get devs to rally behind SegWit. We just lost one of our most talented core devs, FDOV, this week because of our collective failures to progress development. Wow, that was deep, Kinkachu. That was deep. Seva responds, yep. Things don't look great to me, and I've been a basically evergreen supporter of this project. Disappointed to see stagnation for audit lead to we don't need it. Kinkachu responds, 2 separate audits? Honestly, if a multi-$100 million project like Ravencoin can't push out a simple release after spending upwards of $20,000 and 8 to 12 months testing and developing, then we deserve to fail. Seva responds, it isn't clear to me why we are this risk averse. Who is using Ravencoin today or plans to use it tomorrow that cannot tolerate a risk? Wall Street jumps into the conversation. Does P2SH allow for assets to be held in a multi-sig? Question mark. Tron responds, yes, it does. Wall Street responds, without P2SH, Tron, secret sharing allows key splitting in any ratio, 2 of 2, 6 of 15, 2 of 3, etc. Wall Street responds, Moontree has no concrete plans at this time, but we have discussed making it easy for users to create multi-sigs where multiple users can create a multi-sig and then request for signing of the other signatories. Kinkager responds to Tron, also, isn't this the whole reason why we increased the activation window? So we could get all the economic actors on board? Question mark. Wall Street responds, I believe this is a good use case for businesses, as it would allow them to easily store their holdings without the need for cold storage, as an alternative to cold storage. Kinkager responds, additionally, HTLCs would allow users to exchange Ravencoin assets directly for Bitcoin. If the whole point of Ravencoin is asset IDK, why weed object / liquidity? If everything is really going to have more assets, responds, have LCs been tested on testnet? Question mark. Kinkager responds to Tron, yes. Hans Schmidt tested them and wrote something up. I'll try to find it. Tron responds, I'm not against activation of P2SH. I'm just questioning the risk versus reward. Seve responds, what's the risk precisely? Wall Street responds to Seve, unknown unknowns. That kind of grinds my teeth right there. Unknown unknowns. That's the risk, the unknown unknowns. We don't know what the risk is. That's why we're not going to take the risk, because we don't know what we're risking. Unknown unknowns. King to HTLC, P2SH, cross atomic swaps, Raven assets with BTC. Let's open that up real quick. Just take a peek in there. There you go. If you guys want to read that, I'm gonna say that. There you guys, check that out. All right, let's scroll through this really quick. If you guys want to see that, you guys can check that out. Remember, it is going to be in the development meeting here for the 17th of June. Okay, continuing on. Kinkager responds to Wall Street's, that's a risk with any code update, even the ones without a hard fork, as we have experienced firsthand. Wall Street responds to Kinkager, agreed, which is why forks have to be taken very seriously and cautiously. Tron responds, the chain stopping or as yet unknown bugs caused issues, a fork, and economic actors, exchanges, and swap sites, not switching when 85 or 90% of the hash power does. Wall Street responds, risk, chain blows up. Reward, Moontree, and maybe some other businesses can add functionality that not many will use as of now. Kinkager responds, 2 separate audits. Kai responds, Ravencoin is an experiment though, no problem. Kinkager responds, I challenge anyone here to find me a single other crypto product that has paid for 2 security audits for the same release. WTF, we pay for them for if we're still worried? Question mark. Kai responds, you won't find that, lol. Kinkager responds, at this pace, we could have also waited for a trail of bits. Might as well hop on their wait list now. Let's do a 3rd audit. Hans Schmidt responds, 1. I believe that HTLC works properly with the P2SH implementation. I did one successfully, which is not an exhaustive test, but encouraging. 2. You don't need P2SH to do multisig. The Bitcoin check multisig opcode can be used to do up to 15 of 15, but it generates larger transactions than P2SH, which therefore have higher fees. P2SH is really only needed for cross-chain atomic swaps of assets. 3. The community has done some testing of P2SH, but I'm not sure that it could be called rigorous by strict software testing methodologies, yardsticks. The security audit really only looks at securities and are fairly irrelevant to functionality. And if unintended functionality results in security side effects, that's a gray area that I doubt they would find. 4. Nothing is risk-free. Bing, bang, boom. Tron responds, if 4.7 is better UI and works as well or better under current consensus rules, we could release it with a long activation window and reasonably high activation threshold, get more usage on mainnet. If there is a strong uptake by miners, there would need to be a concerted all-hands efforts to get the economic actors notified and updated. Exchanges that don't update can lose their shirts as pre-fork duplicates Ravens is sold for real whatever. Kinkager response to Tron, we can start working on that now. Can also do a more extensive testing on P2SH. I've been doing everything manually, which is slow, but theoretically shouldn't be too hard to build a test harness, though I've no experience with that either, aside from schoolwork. Do we have a list of exchanges or other economic actors we've lost contact with? Tron responds, I think I have a list from a previous round of notifications. I lost access to some resources in the move from Medici to the Foundation. I'll search for it and let you know. LSJ-IO7 responds, once the release is out, the community can get behind something and actually make a choice and educate people more on the decision for P2SH or against, and if against, running and keeping the older version without P2SH. Seve responds, not to detail this like the conversation, but is there any progress with Bittrex? LSJ-IO7 responds, what is the current activation threshold? Are we happy with it? I'm happy with 75% and over. Seve responds, probably needs to be closer to 90% or above for something like this. What did Taproot demand? I'm happy with 90%. LSJ-IO7 responds, thing is only it takes one miner with 10% of the hash to stop it. That said, I'm patient. Seve responds, hey, what's another 18 months? Kinkager responds, I believe we just raised it from 70 to 80% when we increased time from 2016 to 2160. Seve responds, asset layer demanded 90. Kinkager responds, this is a much smaller change. We're just adding something for assets that Raven already has and honestly should already have been in place in my opinion. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/pool/1124/files. Wall Street responds to Seve, really important. If we can't get them to update/fix their node now, I'm not convinced we will be able to get them ready in time for a fork. Mango Farms responds to Tron, 4.7 or 8, not sure which, fixed a raw transaction asset memo bug that was stripping the back part of the output. Not a major issue for us. We build an API around the experimental release for the asset memos send only, but wanted to note that there are some functional improvements in the new release that are important in addition to GUI improvements. Kinkager responds to Mango Farms, didn't 4.8 solve the sync mini issues we're experimenting as well? Mango Farms responds, yes, but I don't think the sync issue exists in the production release. I think that was a bug fix for something introduced in 4.7. I could be wrong, Hans would know. Tron responds to Mango Farms. Is that raw transaction change compatible with current consensus rules? Mango Farms responds, I assume so, since it's not P2SH dependent. Just a bug in asset memo send raw transaction. LSJ IO7 responds, if it gets accepted during the voting period of circa 1 month, it will be another month afterwards, approximately before the hard fork will lock in to buy slow economic actors time to update. I think 2 months is more than sufficient, and it's possible they will have longer if it doesn't pass the first cycle, etc., etc. Mango Farms responds, at Tron, I think this was the one. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/pool/1113. Jiraz responds to Kinkajou, I have the 4.2 list. Hans Schmidt responds, the testnet sync issue was a bug in the handling of cache of restricted asset qualifier. It is presented in all previous versions of the core, including version 4.3.2.1 and mainnet. We probably haven't seen it because it requires that you do some fairly odd things. Mango Farms responds with a thumbs up emoji. LSJIO7 responds, we would never do odd things while working on our favorite cutting edge experimental project. Hans Schmidt responds, the raw transaction bug IIRC was a bug which prevented core from generating the transaction correctly in those cases, but it didn't change consensus or prevent you from hand assembling the transactions or writing code which could. Hans Schmidt responds to LSJIO7's, well, they have to be odd and unlucky enough to hit the cache in a certain sequence, rather esoteric. Kinkajou responds, I'll go ahead and close the channel. Great meeting. Thanks for coming, everyone. And that concludes the most updated development meeting for the 17th of June. That was last Friday. Cool. There you guys go. A little over an hour as I expected. I'm just going to quickly go over to now the development channel just to see what's here on the last few conversations here. Let's scroll on down. Let's see. I guess we'll go up to like earlier today. Let's see here. Yeah, we can start here from the 20th. This is Mango Farms responding to Seal Clever. Let's see. No, nothing there. Hans Schmidt responds to Seal Clever. Great, thanks. I was swamped today, but I will study it as soon as I have time. Okay, so now moving over to 21st of June. Tron, Mango Farms, Kinkajou. This is from Hans Schmidt. I took a quick look yesterday at how P2SH interacts with restricted assets. Quick being a relative, good testing is always tedious and time consuming. If you try to tag a P2SH address with a qualifier, the tag lands instead on a P2PKH address, whose hash 160 is the same as the hash of the redeem script of the intended P2SH address. In English, you can't tag P2SH addresses because the tag goes on to a different address. That's not great. It would be better for core to simply refuse to take any action when trying to tag a P2SH address, but it may be tolerable. Just don't do that. As a result of this, attempts to transfer or issue restricted assets to a P2SH address always fails due to verifier string enforcement. In my opinion, that's a good thing. You really don't want to enable tying restricted assets to complex hidden contracts or cross-chain swaps because those mechanisms would provide ways to defect the KYC built into the asset's verifier string. So the result isn't great, but not tragic. Just scratching the surface of test nobody tried. Tron responds, thank you. This makes sense, and your description is super helpful. Would it be accurate to say that as long as the verifier string is true, that the P2SH address would be able to accept assets and could then later send to recipients with the proper tags. I could see this being useful for issuers with good key security. Mango Farms responds, Hans, the concern about not wanting to have hidden contracts for restricted assets makes sense in a limited context, but the solution to that lies with tag providers who have the choice never to tag P2SH addresses if doing to would be inconsistent with whatever KYC regime. I could see many use cases though where one would want to at least have the ability to tag P2SH addresses, such as a very valuable asset interest, security, membership, rights to where multi-sig is desirable. It may be that it is what it is, though at a minimum I would suggest some sort of warning so that people don't go around tagging the wrong addresses thinking that they are valid P2SH addresses tags when in fact they are random incorrect P2PKH tags, which could, although probably, belong to a weapons manufacturer in North Korea. Super glad this stuff is being thought through. Jaraz responds, can't we just fix the bug instead of coming up with a band-aid? I already pinged BF. Mango Farms responds to Draws, clearly better. Hans Schmidt responds to Tron, I'm not sure if that I fully understand your question. Tagging a P2SH address sends to the tag to a different P2PKH address. Transfer or issues of a normal asset to a P2SH address works fine, but for restricted assets, it fails. No transfer or issuance occurs when P2SH address is specified. Hans Schmidt responds to Mango Farms, I definitely agree that tagging a different address should be fixed, and doing so would not be difficult. I am much less convinced that we want to be able to tag P2SH addresses and send restricted assets to them, but I am very interested to hear your arguments and debate the topic. As we discussed previously, you don't need P2SH to do multi-sig. Up to 15 of 15 doable using the check multi-sig opcode, although I doubt anyone has tested that either. Sigh. Can't get your response to Hans Schmidt. Multi-sig is great, but my main interest has always been in the HTLCs for cross-chain swaps. If Bitcoin remains as the primary store of value / currency in the space, it would be nice to have the ability to fundraise Bitcoin. And if we achieve our goals of tokenizing a large portion of the global security markets on Ravencoin, it would be nice to trade those securities without an intermediary. Right now, it seems impossible, but hopefully one day the majority of the on-chain activity will be assets and not Raven. Ideally, those assets would have as much interoperability as possible. For me personally, the potential of trading tokenized equities directly for Bitcoin without a TTP is what drew me to this project many years ago. Mango Farms responds to Hans Schmidt, not really making an argument for or against, just identifying that I'm not sure excluding tags from P2SH addresses is something desirable in all conceivable use cases. For US-based securities maybe, not necessarily for membership interest in a wine club, a Tulip Trust 2.0, or various other things I'm not thinking of. If technically required, that is one thing, but if not, then the issue of whatever is appropriate to tag P2SH address is one easily addressed by the tag provider, not necessarily a protocol decision as to whether it is good or bad in all conceivable contexts. The use case for tags goes far beyond traditional securities and KYC. Okay. Mango Farms responds to P.S. Hans Schmidt, I am excited to learn you can do an asset send from a multi-sig address with that opcode. I don't know why I thought it only worked on Raven. With Raven, I supposed I picked up on a suggestion by osmosis, but never tested it. I have to test it out. And thanks, Sally, Mr. What, Mr. Cater. This is some of the sexiest conversations I've seen in months. Hans Schmidt responds to Tron. Sorry, just realized you were asking whether restricted assets transfers to P2SH addresses successfully when the verifier string is true. Good question. I need to try that. Nobody is mining testnet. I'll restart a miner and try it a bit. I swear, if I ever start a chain, it will use SHA-256 and built-in mining for testnet. Jaraz, bounty for moving the Kapow CPU miner into core. Kinkaju responds, please, he responds to Jaraz, please, number one issue I see developers and testers mention. Testnet goes down constantly. Let me see. Hans Schmidt responds to Mango Farms. Good point about qualifiers having the use case beyond KYC. I am just a bit worried about the technicalities and whatever enabling restricted assets functionality on P2SH is something we would end up regretting, considering how little testing already gets done properly. Agreed. Mango Farms response, it only goes down when I'm working in New York like today. I just called my son to boot it back up. Raven testnet can't stay open and running on my PC for more than a few days. Hans Schmidt responds to Kinkaju, I definitely agree with your point about being able to cross-chain swap with assets for BTC. That's why I tested exactly that use case. But doing that for restricted assets makes it unrestricted, so the capability may not be needed. Mango Farms responds, should be fixed now. Mango Farms is testing like crazy and I'm getting pinged. Hey Doug, testnet is down. My son just flipped it back. If anyone wants to put another GPU on it, between the two of them, the odds are good and there will be fewer down windows. Kinkaju responds to Mango Farms, I still think we should add the CPU miner back into the core. I believe you made the joke referencing Hal Finney's tweet, running Bitcoin, not running Bitcoin, and a bunch of closed source software to a pool somewhere else or something to that effect. I really think the core software should have everything you need to run the network. Plus FDOV already built it, so why not use it? Mango Farms responds, couldn't agree more. Personally, I think it's important to have a core node with the ability to generate, even though it will never be used in practice. Hans Schmidt responds, the issue with putting it in Raven/Qt is that it only works for Intel CPU, which have the correct Intel GPU, so it remains broken on every other platform. Even more support complaints. If it works at all, I don't know for sure, although I'm sure it must have worked for FDOV. Mango Farms responds to Hans Schmidt 100. Seal Clubber responds, I think crawl made the Stratum proxy in C language. Could we implement that in some way and just have anyone use their software of choosing? Kapow miner works with it. I got that tested. Ilay Pipe responds, I can probably throw a GPU on testnet here in the next day or two, at least for a while. LSJ07 responds to Hans Schmidt, surely this could be addressed in a simple message when set generate is called. Wallet mining only possible on compatible Intel generating GPUs with the wallet, etc. Mining is typically carried out by dedicated GPUs with separate mining software. Jaraz responds, Stratum would be neat, to be honest. Seal Clubber responds, it would be easier to implement, I assume, and it broadens compatibility. Crawbetter responds, it would be very easy to implement. Actually, the RPC calls are fundamentally reactive, so the miners would need to call them instead of being pushed to the miners. I don't know if we want to implement a Stratum server in the node itself. Kinkajo response to Tron. Hans Schmidt, I believe I just tested this. Issued a restricted assets with verifier left blank. Default set to true. Sent to a P2SH multisig address. Then reissued the restricted assets with a verifier string. I was then able to transfer the restricted assets from the P2SH multisig address to another address if it had been tagged with the qualifier specified on the reissue. At least I think that's what you were asking about. Crowdbetter, the response to Kinkachu. Did you tag P2SH? Nothing stops sending a restricted assets only to what address it can be sent to, unless I'm wrong. Kinkachu response to Crowdbetter there. No, I couldn't. I can send a tagged asset to P2SH and did that too, but I can't tag P2SH. I issued the restricted assets first with no qualifier strings, then sent it to the P2SH address. Then I reissued the same asset, but with a qualifier string. I could send restricted assets out, but could not receive any more to the P2SH address. EnkG responds, Hi all, I hope you're doing well. I'd love to speak to somebody about the blockchain area, DeFi, DEX, NFTs, FEBE, development participation opportunity. Can you please point me in the right direction? Kinkajo responds to EKG. If you're asking about doing those things on the Ravencoin, then you're in the right place. Kinkajo responds to Kinkajo. Should also test this by issuing the restricted assets initially to a 2 to 3 multisig and attempt reissue with only one of the signers. Hans Schmidt responds to Kinkajo. At Tron, agreed. I also verified that as expected, you can transfer a restricted assets to a P2SH address as long as its verifier string is true. Hans Schmidt responds to Kinkajo. You said that you also transferred the restricted assets from the P2SH multisig address to another address. I'm curious which tools you use to do the multisig asset transfer. I've done them, but they are a pain to hand code. Kinkajo responds to Hans Schmidt, Electrum. Hans Schmidt responds, got it, thanks. Kinkajo responds to Hans Schmidt, perhaps also worth mentioning, I've also tested sending assets in Qt using multisig wallets generated in Qt with public keys from 2 other wallets and add multisig address. I was able to issue assets to and send assets from this address. I later started using Electrum because I thought those may not have been P2SH multisig and were generated via the check multisig opcode you had mentioned. But the issue was qualifiers happened to both those addresses and the multisig addresses generated via Electrum. It is possible the issue is actually with multisig and not specific to P2SH, or was I using P2SH multisig all along with add multisig addresses in Qt ? Crowdbetter responds, multisig is an application of P2SH. If there are issues, it will be all P2SH. Kinkajo responds to Crowdbetter, yes, but doesn't require P2SH, right? I was inquiring as to how Core created my first multisig address since it worked with assets, and that was a new feature. Crowdbetter responds, it does, as far as I know. Raven has had multisig for a while, just not for assets. Oh, maybe you are right. Just putting the whole thing in the locking script. I don't know now. I definitely saw our addresses on mainnet though. Those are P2SH. Kinkajo responds, on testnet they both start with 2. Crowdbetter responds, yeah, testnet P2PKH 1/3 and P2SH is 2. Mainnet is R, uppercase R, and lowercase r makes it easy. Kinkaju responds to Crowdbetter this, so it must be a P2SH address or do multisig address. Check multisig. Also starts with 2. Crowdbetter responds to multisig addresses are always P2SH, but there is also non-multisig P2SH and P2SH addresses IIRC. For all intents and purposes, let's just say all Ravencoin multisig is P2SH, because what I'm thinking of is, if it even exists, is highly depreciated. Oh, wait. Here it is. github.com/bitcoin/bips/blobs/masters/bip-0011.mediawiki. This is multisig, but it would not have any address associated with it and is not used anymore. In lieu of P2SH, which does the same thing with less bytes OB chain by putting the hash of the script as the locking script. Hence, pay script to hash. Of course, the original has to be revealed when signing. Kinkager response to Hans Schmidt. Also, I just remembered this bug was reported a while back, but doesn't seem to have gotten much attention. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/issues/990 hashtag issue comments -9891511364. Kinkajou response to Kinkajou. Tron and Mango Farms draws. Hans Schmidt response to Kinkajou. So the problem discussed and rediscovery today were actually reported a year ago? Sigh. There are probably more landmines in the 113 open issues. Kinkajou responds to Hans Schmidt, only 6 months ago. I thought the same thing, so I went digging. The main standouts I see were the issues craw opened with the malformed transactions. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/issues/1058, and these two vulnerabilities FDOV seem to be working on. github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/issues/1086 and github.com/ravenproject/ravencoin/issues/1148. There also seems to be a few issues still open that I believe have been solved with 4.8.5. EKNG response to Kinkajou. What does it mean? And folks, that is the end. We are caught up. We are finally caught up. Whew. All right, about an hour and a little over an hour and a half. Thank you all. Thank you all. If you guys want to help out, we do actually have a coin tree. If you guys want to donate to our coin tree, you guys can definitely do that. We do appreciate you guys' donations over to the C3 Media wallets. We accept Ravencoin, that's for sure. Can't forget that. Or just assets. You guys have some assets you guys want to send to our wallets, go ahead, send them our way. All right, you guys definitely check us out on YouTube. Odyssey, please, man. Odyssey, we're trying to pump up Odyssey. That's the number one thing we want to start pumping up, getting more subscribers, followers, all that good stuff on Odyssey. Twitch, obviously, there's a few of you guys watching on Twitch. I appreciate that. Twitter is continuously growing. That's the way to get a hold of us on Twitter, especially on Discord. I'm always on Discord. You guys can always find me there all the time, every single day. Discord is awesome. So, with that said, actually, we have a C3 Media merch site. Now you guys can buy some merch from us. It is cool. Let's see if I can put this over here. Will it fit over here? Nope. Give me a second here. I will show you. Guys. Here you go. Blink. Check it out. Get some merch. There it is. Stack sats and huddles. Diamond hands. You guys got to get them. With that said, that's the way we're going to end it. Raven Knights, thank you guys for listening all around the world. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys get a thumbs up, hit the sub, hit the follow, all that good stuff. With that said, until next time, stack sats and huddle. Adios.